If anyone is a horror fan, they most certainly have seen the classic horror slasher film Halloween countless times. Having seen said film numerous times, it becomes apparent that Michael Myers is credited as being played by three individuals. Will Sandin as Michael Myers age 6, Tony Moran as Michael Myers age 23 when the mask is removed, and Nick Castle as the man behind the mask, The Shape. But actually, there's an additional 3 people that played Michael in the first Halloween film, none of which were credited, and one of them was writer Debra Hill? This is Film Slice, how 6 actors played Michael Myers in Halloween. Despite being a box office hit that grossed $47 million in the US and $70 million worldwide, Halloween had small beginnings. The film had a budget of just $300,000.
The budget was so small in the movie that they had to have the actors wearing their own clothes.
The budget and 21-day shoot was so tight that the cast and crew were asked to do multiple jobs.
I was hired ostensibly as the production designer and also the editor. Those 2 jobs don't work well together. You know, you can forget sleep.
On location in California, in an attempt to bring to life the fall atmosphere of the fictionalized Haddonfield, Illinois, the crew created 3 trash bags full of painted leaves, and cast and crew alike were required to collect them.
And at the end of the shooting of the scene, the wind might pick up or whatever. Deborah would yell, everybody, come on, Hal, get the leaves. And we would gather every last leaf and put it back in the bag.
When I see the movie now, I saw myself kind of flinch a little bit.
Despite being cast in the film's meticulous opening sequence, Will Sandin was the final actor cast as Michael Myers, age 6.
I mean, that was that plastic mask with the rubber band around the ears, and as he was taking it off, I mean, there were times where it was just painful. That was the hardest part of the whole scene, was just taking off the mask without it hurting.
Taking into account the tight budget, John Carpenter chose a friend he had gone to film school with, Nick Castle, to be cast in the iconic role of The Shape.
He said, you know, we haven't cast the killer. Why don't you be the killer? And I went, well, I'm not an actor. I can't act. I'm horrible in front of a camera. I'm really stiff. And he went, no, we're going to have a mask over the guy the whole time. You just walk around.
Little did Castle know he would inspire generations of filmmakers by just walking around and having never said a word, and having only shown his face for a brief moment when Michael leaps onto the car. But despite being behind the mask and having the presence, the movements, and the walk that would define a horror icon, John Carpenter determined that Nick Castle's face just did not fit Michael Myers. When it came time to reveal that face, Tony Moran was cast for the single shot of Michael Myers, age 23.
John Carpenter said they were looking for somebody with an angelic face. And that's the exact word he used, and I'm like, well, okay. Well, I never thought I had an angelic face, but...
Like many films, Halloween called for a stuntman, and Jim Winburn was cast for several shots. Next, to save time on takes and to stay within the 21-day shooting schedule, production designer and editor Tommy Lee Wallace was chosen for specific scenes when Michael had to damage something in the environment.
I got my chance because we could move faster, we found, if I put on the outfit and the mask when we had to break something, because I would have prepared that set. I knew how to hit the thing to make it break correctly on take 1 rather than take 4.
So one of the most memorable scenes from Halloween when the Shape attacks Laurie inside the closet was not Nick Castle, but rather the production designer and editor Tommy Lee Wallace. Finally, when a long shot was needed and no other actors or crew were available, the film's writer Debra Hill took on the Shape's costume for this single wide shot.
Well, I needed to go pick up some trick-or-treat shots, second unit. So not only was I going to direct the second unit, but I brought the costume and I was going to be the Shape. So I put this Shape costume on, and of course I'm so much tinier than Nick. And in dailies it was so hilarious because the Shape had shrunk.
While cast and crew having multiple roles is nothing new, especially in the case of low-budget films, it's easy for this to be an oversight. When you see the characters on screen, it's easy to only see one actor and maybe a stuntman or two as that character. But despite its budget, 21-day shoot restriction, and the cast and crew doing multiple tasks, Halloween managed to be a box office success, and go down as not just a classic horror film, but a classic film amongst the greatest ever. And its iconic antagonist, Michael Myers, played by 6 different actors. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next wave.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.